This show contains adult humor and authentic, offensive gamer language. It is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. And if you find yourself aroused, don't forget to subscribe.
Happy Saturday. You are listening and or watching PWNCAST. This is episode 97, and we are in patch 6.2.3. On tonight's show, we are going to be talking about a lot of things this episode. Paragons is hanging up their rating hats. What the fuck's going on with the world? Blizzard focuses on females for fashion, which may or may not be targeting. I don't really know what's going on there. The new World of Warcraft book series, they got a preview of it. That sucker goes on sale next month. We're going to talk more about that, and we have much, much more to talk about, so make sure you guys stay right here.
In the World of Warcraft trade chat, troll-based offenses are considered especially heinous. In Azeroth, the dedicated players who call out these asshats are members of the elite squad known as the PWNCAST podcast. These are their stories.
Welcome back. I did bring the Riders of Rohan with me. I did bring the Death Knight who finally stopped playing WoW on a potato, Lycan.
I didn't realize there's so many beautiful areas in WoW. I logged in, what was it? I think Tuesday morning. I got most of the parts of the computer, and I started laying them all out on the table here and there. The wife go, man, that didn't really take you that long to wake up. Got everything thrown down, and then I finally got the box in on Wednesday. Got it all set up, got it all running, and yeah, it's. There are other games that I play, which I'm not allowed to talk about because I keep getting yelled at for it. But even those games are not pixelated anymore. There's there's curved lines instead of little squares. It's pretty.
It's going to make mechanics and raids a lot better, yeah?
It is. I was singing right before we went on air. I went, a whole new world.
You're going to make me sing it.
You sound beautiful.
Well, there went half our viewers.
And I do sound beautiful. Welcome to PWNCAST After Dark.
That's so weird. I did also bring the shaman who's been secretly leveling a horde. Huge bloke.
Well, it's not really a secret anymore, is it? Like,
I was debating on whether or not I was going to put that, but then I thought, let's just do it.
that was meant. Ah, man, Circle of Trust broken, gone, all gone now. No, it was a guilty
Join
pleasure.
the club today, man.
I started out doing it for the double agent achievement, and stupidly actually ended up enjoying doing something different. But we'll come back to that later on. It's been good. He's 100 now. I got my achievement, so I'm happy. Now we'll see what happens from there.
Is that why you're wearing a red shirt with the blue hat? Are you confused?
And
we just thought that was Hots that was always confused. Turns out it's not.
As soon as I sat down at the PC to do the show, I'm like, Of all my Australian formal wear that I could have put on, it had to be this one. So next week I'll mix it up and get the Horde hat just so it's all official.
Don't feel bad. I have a red car and I have an Alliance sticker on the back of my window. So I just really like the color red. It's not Horde in nature. I did also bring the Boomkin who forgets who his friends are. Hots for shots.
Yeah, I best friend actually. Known him since I was 3.
That
got
makes
him
it worse.
I know, and I got him as account, and I got him a new account because he got banned in the first wave, and then or in the second wave. So I laughed at him, then got him a new account, and was like, "Hey, recruiter friend, bam," and then completely forgot about the rewards and everything. And I logged in for raid, and I was like, I see this like box just staring at me, and I was like, "What is that?" Oh. So now I'm the proud owner of a Cinderman charger thing.
You don't even deserve it after that.
No.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think you deserve it.
It happens, you know, like...
Does it?
No.
Does it?
I just forget about... I still put... yes.
Guys, if you're a friend of his, I'm sorry in advance. If you are the unfortunate friend who allowed him to recruiter friend you, I'm even more sorry. You could be friends with us, though. We will love you and never forget you. That may or may not be a lie. I did also bring the monk who is finally official. He has been added to the logo. He is now officially official. Gemma Banks.
That's pretty sweet, eh? I'm very happy to be a part of the logo or the banner, or whatever we want to call it, thanks to Dusky. Yeah, I'm shibby.
Dusky's amazing. We gotta fix the intro though. Bloke was kind enough to remind me of another thing I failed at today.
It's a lot of stuff on your plate.
It's,
Golf
that's
Pepperville.
Shucks,
all
eh?
part of the service here.
Fuck me, right? Okay, let's get right in. We do have a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about today. I want to talk about this Blizzard riding the women's legging trend situation. I think what's happened here is perhaps Blizzard's realized that a large part of the community is now women, right? Before, it used to be like a man's world. It was only men. There were no women on the internet. It was only, what is it?
There are only 14-year-old boys and FBI agents. That's it.
Right. So I think now what's happened is they're starting to gear things towards the women's side, which I think that's nice. I personally buy men's t-shirts just because I like the, the collar cut and stuff of men's t-shirts. But they've got this whole line that's like geared towards women. They got the batarang, whatever the fuck it's called, leggings, which I just want to go out on a limb here and state that you should probably only wear those if you have the means to be wearing them. I'm not going to say anything else beyond that. I'm just going to let you know that sometimes...
I think my legs are pretty skinny. I think I can
sometimes
pull
it's
it
not
off.
appropriate.
If they made them in bloke size, I would rock the shit out
like
of
you,
them.
bloke, are not appropriate to be wearing those because you're ginormous.
Oh, so
and
I'm perfectly fine.
But I feel like there would be some camel toe. It wouldn't be called camel toe. What would you call it for a man?
Moose
Elephant trunk?
knuckle.
Moose knuckle.
Or moose knuckle.
It's called a moose knuckle.
I'm sure we can get a size for bloke to make it
For
work.
hots, it would be camel
We'll make
toe.
it happen.
but yeah,
I'll wear those
they-
bad boys at BlizzCon this year and rock.
You heard it here,
Yeah.
folks.
I mean,
They gotta be the good ones though. They gotta be the Arthas ones.
I think we ought to buy them and wear them to BlizzCon.
Well,
Yeah.
we could probably start that trend. It is a possibility. I don't know. You guys tell us what you think. Should we be rocking those leggings at BlizzCon this year?
Instead of wearing a dress, I'll wear some leggings and a tank top, like cut off tank top.
Maybe not.
Oh.
Well, you do look really good in women's clothing. Not for nothing. Just so you look better than I do, which is a shame. I don't even know what to say about that.
Yep.
But they are. I don't know what's caused this shift where they're kind of specifically targeting. They're specifically targeting females. So yeah, of course, yeah, definitely money.
Because of the movie, they want the females to
well-
buy those to wear them to the movie.
I wouldn't
Not
necessarily say they're specifically aimed at the females though. Like I said,
Valid point.
if they came in the right size, I'd buy them and find some constructive
I
purpose
don't think
for
it's
them.
appropriate, but I mean, hey, who am I to judge?
I don't think they're expensive to make either, so they probably make them for $25 and sell them for $20. I'm sure it's
It's whose keyboard is that? What are you doing? Is that you, Jim? Did you get excited? That's what I heard. Also, they did change up they didn't change up. They added the requirements for Legion, right? They did the same thing for Warlords of Draenor. They came out, which, if you guys remember back in pre-release, they had talked about everybody had kind of panicked because they were redoing all the graphics. This was at the point when they decided they wanted to redo all the models. They introduced a new kind of, I don't even know how to say it. All I know is a bunch of abbreviations. Don't know what the fuck it means. Don't really give a shit. Just know that it's there and an option that we can select. So it shouldn't be too difficult looking at this list for what's required. I mean, they're still only requiring 2 gigs of RAM. I probably shit 2 gigs of RAM turning on the computer, so that's not really that's not really a lot of power.
2 gigs of RAM for breakfast.
And they're
A dual core processor is all they're requiring. So I mean, I just got
and
an
that's
i5.
minimum
but,
though.
Yeah.
Minimum. Probably you want to go with their recommended specifications, which of course they're recommending Windows 10. I think we all know why, because there is a partnership that they do have with Windows, which we found that out at BlizzCon, which I'm sure is in direct relation to Xbox and all that other shit that they've got going on that avenue. But they're, requiring for Intel a minimum of an i5. AMD, yay, you can kill yourself. AMD sucks. No offense to any of you that have it. It's just personal opinion. And they are requiring a little bit of heavy graphics, so maybe if you're looking to upgrade, now might be the time, but I always say wait till you
Are they
play
really
it.
stretching it that far though? Like shit, this game's been around for 11 years, and this is
Right.
the first time people have ever questioned the upgrade specs. They're
I
like, oh,
wonder-
Legion's coming out. oh no, I actually have to go out and get something better to keep playing WoW. After 11 years, I can't find one fucking game franchise that you don't have to upgrade to play the next one.
Agreed.
Like
Yeah,
every year,
people are
every 2
freaking
years
out.
at tops.
You're right. I
And
see.
if your
Well,
computer's
it
11
was
years
long
old,
due.
if your
It was
computer's
long
el-
overdue.
And I agree. People have been freaking out when this got posted originally. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, they're costing me money." Literally, the community was freaking out. It's really not that serious. It really isn't. I mean, just wait till you log on. Don't start setting shit on fire yet. It's really not that big of a deal. I think every game does this, so this isn't any different than that. So if you're one of those people freaking out, slow your roll, calm down.
and it's about like a year or so before like the next big thing is out,
True.
like as
And-
far as computers go, so it can't be that big of a deal.
It's true.
The big thing I've heard about it was the graphics card. Ladies and gentlemen, the GeForce has been out. The 440 series has been out since April of 2010.
True.
You know, I mean, even like I got the 9 something, and it still wasn't top of the line. It's if you haven't updated your computer in 5 years, and you're complaining about the shitty graphics, upgrade your computer.
Well,
Just saying.
And we've talked about this quite a few times. You could play on some bullshit on a milk crate. It works just fine. There's a lot of us that before we were able to afford upgrades, a lot of us have children and we have life and we can't afford fancy shit,
That's always been the appeal of WoW, though. It's always been that game that you can literally still play on the shittiest computer ever. But like what I was saying a second ago, like after 11 years, it was long overdue and it's about time. But that being said, we like Hot said, we still got a year. So I know that if I want to play it and have it looking pretty and whatever else, I'm going to get my ass into gear and pack $20 away every now and then so that I can upgrade in time to play it. Like don't freak out when the game comes and you can't play it. Like, oh, Blizzard, you assholes, you broke it, so I can't play. Fuck off. Like you've been told.
Such Blizzard hates.
No Blizzard hates. I have hate for the people that will cry about it when they can't play it. Well, WoW sucks. Like, fix it beforehand.
It's because they don't really have anything real to really complain about right this moment. Like, what are you bitching about? They're working on an expansion. Okay, the end of Warlord sucks. We have no content, but it's okay. Make your own content. There's plenty of shit to do in game. I don't want to hear that bullshit. Farm the fucking rocket. Don't say a word. I don't even want to hear one thing out of your mouth about that rocket. Period. But moving on, so World of Warcraft's Chronicles Volume 1. If you didn't get a chance to watch the video, they did a little interview with Chris Metzen and he talked about it. I'm pretty sure everybody's probably looked at these, at the previews that we got. That is going to be, you can pre-order it now. It's $24.92. It does go on sale March 15th, right? And so, in one of the things that he talked about is, in addition to them expanding on some things, we're gonna be visiting parts that we've long forgotten, which obviously, since it's the beginning of this Chronicles, which leads me to believe the correlation between, we talked about Warcraft changing to Warcraft the Beginning, which tells us that there's going to be, a sequel, possibly a third, possibly a fourth, possibly a fifth. I don't know if these are correlating in those events here. As far as the book, I know that he talked about them wanting to give people a deeper look because there's so many lore buffs, right? There's so many story buffs that just really want to know what the story of World of Warcraft's about. So I think, did you guys have a chance to look at it? What'd you guys think?
What, at the actual book itself?
Like there's a whole preview. They had like 41 pages of previews, images. Oh no.
I glanced through the images. I don't
Bloke
want
probably
to...
didn't want spoilers, right? You guys didn't want spoilers?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
It wasn't so much spoilers. Like, I know what I'm like. I get through those 41 pages. I'm like, I want the other 736 pages. Give them to me now.
Right.
I didn't want to do it to myself. Like, I had a real quick glance over some of the images that came on. And I like what I saw, but I didn't purposefully go and read anything because I know... I'm like that with any of the Warcraft books.
Sure.
If I read one page or one paragraph, I'll end up reading the whole fucking thing, and because I can't do that just yet, like I thought better not to punish myself.
For
And
sure.
there is something I have to say on this, and there's a very pretty picture on there. And if you want to know how the connection between the Titans and the old gods and all the different realms are connected, they have an absolutely, and it's up on Wildhead too. You can actually look at the preview from the book. It has like an old. Kind of like the different elements on how they connect in some of the shamanistic societies, but how it all relates to World of Warcraft. And that is the one I've pretty much focused on recently. And if anything, this book has anything to do or is going to be anywhere along the lines of the artwork they put into it, it's worth 3 times the amount that they're asking for the price on it. Plus, I have constantly people asking me, how do I learn more about lore? This is going to be the ultimate handbook to lore. If you've not caught up with it over the last, 20 years from Warcraft 1, read this.
Well, and a good correlation to things like the Harry Potter series, the Lord of the Rings. Like, this whole thing is very reminiscent of that in nature. We already had all these great lore books before, right? Christy Golden and all these wonderful things. But I think now we're getting some official situations here. And I'm feeling like that's kind of what they're gearing towards, which makes me really happy because I think, and we talked about this a couple episodes ago, Warcraft the movie is introducing the masses, okay, the non-gamers to our story, the world that we live in every day, which is fucking pretty legit. We went to Toys R Us. Some of that shit's not great quality, I'm not gonna lie. Medivh does look a little derpy. I didn't buy it and I wanted to. But I think it's one of those moments where we're living in an age now where they're taking our game and they're putting it all over for. We're going to be hearing people that don't even game that are going to be talking about this movie. They're going to talk about the story. They're going to read the books. Hopefully teenagers still read. I know I require mine to. But I think this is just going to be another avenue to bring more people to the game itself, if nothing else, just for the story and its origins. I'm pretty stoked.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably read this many books in my entire life.
I really hope you practice safe sex because I'm really scared. I'm really scared for you for any kind of children that may or may not happen.
I've always
just kidding.
I don't know how to put it. I've always hated reading because my mind wanders too much while I'm reading and I get lost and then I lose where I'm at on the page, get distracted, squirrel, and I'm just like, it took me like 4 months to read The Goblet of Fire, and I was just like, I'm done with that shit. Leave that alone.
So,
maybe bathroom time?
Maybe.
See, that got scarred for me as a kid, but we're live, and I don't know how much I want to read for that.
We ain't going down that path, man.
We're not going to go down that rabbit hole today, sir, because we do have a lot on the agenda. So the transfer gold is being increased to 250K. So it was on there as an official thing, and then they took it off and dropped it back down. That's for a level 100. They dropped it back down to what it normally is because it's not ready to go. Somebody had transferred, was irritated because it wouldn't let them transfer. Then there was this forum post that went back and forth, and they were like, it's not implemented live. So they did change the verbiage because the verbiage was up on the internet live. I know, because PDQ was covering it, and they were like, it disappeared. So
thing, right?
It is going to be a thing. It's just not a thing right this moment.
Yes.
So get excited if you're
start saving that gold.
If you're a gold hoarder on another, I was going to say another country, in another
racist.
Different show.
I'm sure we offended somebody. Paragons. Hats, I know this is right up your alley. Paragon's no longer rating. I'm going to read to you their official statement that they posted on their website. We have decided to stop rating, which obviously means we will not be a part of the World First Race in Legion. In the end, it came between going international, playing with suboptimal Finnish roster, or quitting. For a while, I was seriously considering going the international route, but in the end decided that it was not worth the trouble for me. The question has been looming over our heads for a long time, as it has been a challenge to get a solid Finnish 20-25 man roster together, and this time there was no 10-man option to bail us out.
That's all I have to say about that.
You mean they're not going to get the achievement?
There's so many things that I want to say here, and none of them are going to be good things, so it's probably best in the interest of, if I don't have an opinion here, I understand what they're saying. I get it. They're dealing with a lot of things. They're frustrated because they suboptimal all Finnish. I don't know what that means. I'm hoping that wasn't racism, but I understand what they're saying because they're on a different time zone. I understand all the reasons. Don't really care about all the reasons. I think what it comes down to is everybody wants to be so elite. I find it funny that the struggles people have. Method had the same issue, did they not? They had issues keeping their roster filled with so many people that are hardcore. Where are you guys that people are struggling? These are world first people.
There.
You want to know
Method-
why? Never mind. I'm not.
Yeah.
I swear. I
Don't
swear I'm
start.
not gonna. I swear I'm not. I'm gonna
It-
leave it alone. But I'm
I-
telling you, there's a reason for it. And instead of just wiping your whole situation, you should probably change the way that you think. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say anything else.
I really think that you kind of taken this the wrong way, though, because if you reread that way they stated that, they didn't want to get a terrible team together that was all
Right.
Finnish,
No, I totally get it.
or go with an international team where I'm sure not all of them speak very fluent English.
I totally get it.
So
No, I
They're
went
having
to
problems
look
filling
at-
the roster. How are you having problems filling a roster with how many hardcore people we have in this game?
It's not the filling the roster part. Like they could bring in people like the people that split up from Method, the people who want to abandon Midwinter, places like that. It's their issue is like whenever I was browsing through and I was just casually scrolling through to see what guilds
Casually
exist-
stalking all of the
Casually,
elitist guilds there
yeah.
are.
They require you to speak Finnish, and there's probably not that many
well.
people. Yeah, like that's their native tongue. That's what they're going to be calling raids out. Like that's what they're going to be using to call out raid mechanics and stuff like that. And if you can't speak it, you're kind of screwed.
So there's
And,
not a lot of Finnish people out there. Finnish people, where are you? Keep
Well,
the team together, man.
I mean, it's probably like it's not the biggest country in the world, and like
And they
I
would
don't know how
prefer to
many-
not deal with all that.
And yeah, and they're gonna have to have like the best of the Finnish internet and have the fucking,
They're-
raid 12 hours a day for.
Maybe you should learn Finnish. This is your time to shine, bud.
Yeah,
Aren't
they've
they-
already called it quits, but
aren't they part of the EU with Australia and Canada? I mean, they all can get together.
yeah, and I guarantee you that's what they're talking about is like they could have went international, and as in like they branch out and try to recruit people off for that, but then you're dealing with pings, you're dealing with the language barriers, you're dealing with like it sucks. I hate to see them go because of whatever they caused their people to leave. Method, if I'm not mistaken, was like a drama between the people.
Yeah, but Method's doing other stuff too, though. I mean, they're not. I mean, they got a lot of stuff
They're
going on.
They're
so.
not done for sure. Then I guarantee they'll reform. And what you were talking about, they'll pull from a suboptimal raid team.
And I think
just to
we
perform.
find a lot of these guys that their groups they get pro happens, and I think inner workings happen, which it's why it's so important to kind of cultivate the relationships with the people that you're working with beyond making money, beyond selling out. And I'm not calling anybody a sellout, it just is what it is. We'd sell out in a second. You offered you offered PWNCAST to be on the BattleNet launcher. I'm not going to say no, we're selling out. But, and I don't mean it in that sense as it's not a derogatory term, but I'm saying like in the sense of, you've made it. You've hit that moment. That's that moment. And I think that there's probably people that struggle with that. The bigger that you get, I think it becomes one of those moments where it really separates what type of person that, and people that you're dealing with in your group, which is why I think it's really important that you cultivate the relationships with the people that you're rising to the top with in that sense, right? We've talked about this, and it's something that's very personal to me in PvP. I'm not going to talk about that, but it's a very personal battle that I had with somebody that was my arena partner, and that struggle and that want for that person to want to be top dog, but doesn't care who he takes, right? He doesn't want to take his friends. He wants to take the pros, the people that are going to take him there. It's those things that you really have to be kind of cognizant and aware of when you're rising to the top. And I think that might happen along the way is I think the stardom kind of gets to your head because WoW, you get your own famous WoW following and all that stuff. So I don't know.
That's what sorts the weak from the strong right there.
Agreed.
And unfortunately, sometimes it's more of it's not what you know, it's who you step on to get to where you're at.
Yeah, and that's, what did I say? I said this a year ago when I was having my own personal issue. I just said, it's great that you want to be at the top, but when you make the top and you're standing to the left and your right, are you staring at your friends or are you staring at people you don't even know? You don't even know if they would sell you up the fucking river for a grilled cheese sandwich. That's essentially what you're dealing with when you're dealing. This community is so fickle. You're famous for a minute and then they forget. Then you're on the lowest end of the totem pole. Then you might be famous again and then they forget. The fame isn't real, guys. You're fucking chasing the lightning here. The fame isn't real. It's not there.
We are still talking about rating, right?
But that because
I'm
it's
just
these
checking,
big.
'cause-
This is like the fourth big rating guild that's announced its split.
I think the pressure is more on the 20-man raid team. It's a really weird number from where they were in the past. Like there's 6 expansions where there was 10 and 25 man, and then they introduced 20 man. Well, you can take up to 30 people with the flex mechanic. And so you're having to deal with, like they said, they don't have a 10-man raid team to bail them out, or the 10-man option. So they have to have 20 people minimum, bare minimum, that can meet their standards and get along with them, and all that stuff. And I figured, when it came to rating, when you're at that mindset, like that level of gameplay and that mindset, it really didn't matter if you didn't like the dude to your left or your right, like as long as you're killing stuff together. But obviously, like after so long, it's gonna take its toll, and that I think that's what we're starting to see more than.
Agreed.
Because they've been around for
like
years.
Hots doesn't play with us because we're casuals. He wouldn't be
Right.
caught with the
That's
likes of
not
us,
the
right?
that's
So
not
we're
true.
not on his Overwatch list of buddies, right? He don't give a shit about
Excuse
us.
me?
Whatever. I played with Lycan.
Well, okay,
Oh, no,
you
no,
play
whoa,
with
whoa.
Lycan because Lycan plays a
Time
lot.
out.
Some of us don't have time to play all the time and get good, right?
So here's the thing.
No one ever asked me.
Let's make a comment, and I'll uphold her end of this, because I got a comment of, "Hey, let's get together and play some Overwatch together." Sure, but I'm in a real group with a bunch of good guys.
Who said
I'm
that?
going, hold on. I'm going, okay, well, that's fine if I'm not that good. Well, no, we'll invite you. So I get invited to this group, and then I started getting critiqued on how I was playing, what I was playing, and I said, well, I'll back out if I need. That's not what they're saying, and this part is in a whisper. That's not what they're saying, but maybe you ought to do this and do that, and that would be Hots.
I told him, he was like, "Hey, do you want to play?" And I was like, "Sure, we have room, but I'm in a group with tryhards." It wasn't "Oh, I'm too good for you, I'm playing with tryhards." It was, "Oh, hey,
We're
if
gonna let
come
you in,
this
but we're
group-"
gonna tell you all the things that you do wrong because you're not good
That's
enough to
just-
sit with us.
that's
Well, guess
their-
what, Hots? You
that's
can't
their-
sit with us. How about
That's
that?
their way
remember that
of
bit we
playing.
were saying a minute ago about getting sold up river for a fucking ham steak or whatever it was?
He does that with literally
All for the sake of
everybody,
being
though.
somebody's battle tag friend.
That-
Oh,
I give
No,
you
I'm
a shot of
ashamed to even
screenshot.
know.
Oh man, I'm
Just
I'm
don't
so
ban it.
sad
Just
Benruki
put down, man.
was critiquing my gameplay and just he was just so annoying and
Was he really?
no, I have him on
Oh,
my
Shit
I
just
was gonna-
got real in about two seconds.
no.
No, I don't give a shit. I don't play with you for that reason. That's why I never ask if you want to play with me, because I don't give a fuck. You can go over there
Amen.
with your
I don't-
tryhardness. I
I don't-
don't give a shit.
I don't give a
You-
shit who I'm playing
You can
with.
all be
Like,
my battle tag friends, all right? Everyone on the show, everyone watching, I'll be your battle tag friend.
See, he
I
play
don't,
with
I
us.
don't need to be elite and hardcore and pew pew the things.
That's code for fuck you.
Amen.
I'm not allowed to say swear words today.
Oh, we're not? Why?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
Because I already filled up my swear jar in the first 5 minutes of the show.
Oh, fuckity fuck. There, I got it all out of your system. You're good.
Thank you.
So I wanted to talk about the class halls. So each week we're going to be covering a different class hall. I have the unfortunate pleasure of not being an alpha yet, because fuck if I can't get an alpha invite, I guess I'm going to have to really start stroking. But fortunately, I did gain access to the alphas, and I had a chance to get on the monk, did the starting quest to get to the class hall. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that. Now, listen, you guys know I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I'll tell you guys when shit sucks. I'll tell you guys when Blizzard's being lame. All those wonderful things. The monk hall is pretty fucking legit. It's the Temple of the Five Dawns. Not Dawns like, like my godfather Dawn, but like Dawns. And it's in the Wandering Isle. So the cool thing about this is once you start doing your quest line, this ends up becoming the home for your Zen pilgrimage, which, like you told me earlier, some people were pissed off about. Sorry, it's pretty awesome. So when you go in, you've got, I'm sure you guys have all seen the video on Wowhead. The coolest thing to me was when you're going up to where the giant temple is on the left-hand side, there is, what is it called? Hang on, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. The Laughing Crane is what it's called. So it's basically, it's your inn, right? It's your little inn. It's a little Pandaren tavern. And what I thought was really cool is there was Pandaren music that was like piano, like old style Western piano music in the tavern. And I was just sitting there, and Derek comes in there. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just listening to the tavern music."
Just chilling.
Yeah, it was pretty. I thought the ambiance of that was really, really nice. You can see the temple guards walking around. There's a portal to Dalaran in there. There's a scouting table. I don't know what that is because it's not active. I'm pretty sure I should have probably done the research to find out what that is. I just didn't have time to do it. So then when you go up to this giant temple, which it's located in Midori Village, the first thing you pop into is the Hall of Seasons. It's got the artifact weapons on this little thing that kind of floats in the air. You have this big, beautiful cherry blossom that's like water's falling down. The cherry blossom little leaves are falling down. Fantastic ambiance. They did a really special job with it. I like that I seen people. One of our biggest complaints in the garrison was what? We don't see anybody anymore. Not only do you see people, you see your own people. Literally. I mean, Alpha's not that populated, so there wasn't like a gajillion people running around. Don't know how this is going to kind of play out on launch, because the garrisons, remember, the garrisons took a shit. People tried to zone into their garrison, got stuck in the air, or fell to their death like I did.
Funny.
Yeah, it was a bad time. But I just with this alone, they did a lot of good work. I also felt the pain of everything being different as far as the monk is concerned, right? I am a heals monk. I don't DPS very often, so I popped into heals spec. Everything's kind of different than what I'm used to, but it's not terrible. I did windwalk because I had to do some quests, and I ended up having to DPS, and it was a little difficult. And I'm just attributing that to me, like the new play style of the way the monk is, which I haven't really checked out because I don't want to do a lot of questing. But not too shabby. DPS, just from me not really knowing the changes and just picking stuff based off what I normally know. DPS was pretty decent on that aspect.
Well, another thing about that is most people are gonna be going into there for their first and maybe second or third character with full HFC gear.
Yeah, for sure.
So the questing is gonna be a lot easier.
It wasn't terrible. It was a nice little quest line that you get, and then you start your artifact as soon as you get into your class hall. You get to pick which artifact weapon you want to start on first, because you do get to pick all of them. And more to come on that, because I'm actually going to be dealing with all the artifacts after we go through the class hall. So in the class hall, when you're in, there's a little teleport that you can go to, and it takes you to the upper level of the giant temple, which is the Hall of the Twins, I think is what it's called. And I'm not really sure who the twins are. Maybe Lycan can find that out. But there's just a big giant circle, because the tree and the water, the giant statue with the waterfall, goes all the way up through the temple. So it's a pretty big class hall in that sense. Didn't see any vendors, but I did want to talk about some of the NPCs. You can find, they have Firepaw. He's actually training a bunch of junior recruits. Like, there's a lot of cool ambiance around this class hall on the outside. It kind of looks like Jade Forest, the starting area for Jade Forest, and where you have all these stairs that you go to with all these different little random buildings. But he's training some new recruits there. I didn't see the Monkey King, although he's in there. I didn't see him in there, but there's a lot of nods to a lot of NPCs that we see in Mists of Pandaria, which I thought was pretty cool. Overall, they did a really great job. I'm excited to see the other classes. I literally just went in there and checked out the monk one. I was super impressed. So if you have Alpha, make sure you guys check that out. If not, we're going to be covering them every week. I think next week we're going to be doing the Warlock. But in light of that, one of the NPCs, who's a very, very famous NPC, hangs out in your order hall for the monk, and Lycan's going to give you a little bit of lore regarding that specific NPC.
Yeah, and what we were originally planning on, I was going to go through all the NPCs that were in the order halls, but a lot of these NPCs, you have to understand, are new. They're not, there's not a lot of them that are real steeped in Warcraft history, because, I mean, they've got to put a lot of NPCs in that little bit of a space we're going to have it. So one of the ones I did decide to go on this time would be, what is his name? Chen Stormstout. Sorry, I lost it here. I was thinking of the twins here and trying to get you information on that. But we learned about Chen Stormstout actually way back in Warcraft, I believe 3 is when we first get to meet his acquaintance. And some of the information we actually have on him comes from the comic books. So to start off with him, you got Chen. He was a brewmaster monk that was from Pandaria. He was one of the first and few Pandarian to actually leave the Wandering Isles. There were stories of thousands of them some of them leaving thousands of years before him. But then they stopped when they were on the back of Shenzhen the turtle, and he originally had stopped making trips to the mainland and prevented a lot of them from leaving. But Chen was different. He was the type to sit around and wondering what was going on out in the rest of Azeroth instead of just this little safe haven they had built for themselves. Like I said, for most of you don't know that don't know the name of them. Sorry, my dog was shaking her chain.
It's okay. My dog sneezed earlier, and my husband gave me the death look. I don't know what that means.
But Wandering Owl is built on the back of Shenzhen Zoo, which is the big turtle that we got to meet in Mist and Pandaria, where you had Chen. Now, Chen had originally he was going to challenge Strongbow, which was the other basic master of the martial arts that was on the Wandering Owl, to be the leader of the martial arts school, and they called them the Geo Masters. But on the day that Chen was actually supposed to challenge Bo, he decided to head off and explore Azeroth around him. He said he got bored of what was there, knows there's so much more out there, and wanted to see it. Now, there is information on Chen, like I said, through the World of Warcraft comics, and that's where we meet Rexar, and he gets to meet him for the first time, which is the half-orc, half-ogre beastmaster. And he actually asked Rexar to help him find ingredients for his thunder brew that he was making. He found the ingredients, but when he took a drink of it, I actually thought he was going to die from it. It was that strong. And, you think of Rexar, he is this huge, towering, personality. And, yeah, he thought he was going to die from it. It was so strong. But after he quote-unquote lived through it, he decided to ask Chen to join him on some of his adventures through Azeroth. Him and Rexar headed off. One of the places that we find him at is in Theramore, and they wanted to help investigate why the humans were trying to kill the orcs. This is where we meet Jaina, and, she actually decided, and I know Bloke just loves Jaina.
I knew something smelled fishy in this storyline.
Funny. Well, we actually find out that after seeing what her father had done to what had been doing to the fledgling horde, that she decided she was going to help.
You're the only person in your room. I just want to point that out. You're the only one in there.
In the storyline, not me.
Just saying, that's kind of weird. Sorry.
Just saying. You need that. You never got that bottle for Breeze yet, have you? And Richard's coming soon. You got to kind of spruce it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we meet Jaina. Jaina decided to help out her and Rexar and Chen alongside of Dorotar and Thrall. They went out and fought back the Culturist Marines that we see them coming onto Dorotar. After that, Chen hung out for a little bit in Dorotar, and we actually find out that he teaches an orc by the name of Drone the ways of the Brewmaster, which is one of the earliest occurrences of Brewmaster in the game. And if you go to Ratchet, right outside of one of the houses stands an orc. And the name of the orc is Brewmaster Drone. And, without any information up until that point, we really never knew what the title really meant. Not until Mist of Pandaria. Now, he had been missing from World of Warcraft for some time. There was that quest you get from Drone, which if you're a Horde and you've decided to level through the Barrens, I'm not sure if it's still there since the revamp. But yeah, it was called Chen's Empty Keg. Did you go through that quest, Bloke, whenever you were doing your Horde adventures?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never leveled a Horde.
Okay. I know I haven't leveled a Horde in a long time, so if anybody in the chat room knows for a fact that it's still there, just let us know. But, we used to find empty kegs of his brew all through the Barrens. Now, when Chen arrived at Pandaria, we found him and found out that the Temple of the Jade Serpent, which is being attacked by the Sarek, which are they're not the fish ones, they're those creatures from the sea that were attacking the turtle.
The Jinyu or whatever they're called?
Not the Jinyu. These were the Sarek. If you remember yes, it was the other ones that we saw on Shenzhen Su, the turtle, when if you did a monk, where you had to go heal the turtle because the turtle was damaged from the ship, and we had to explode the ship out of there and use the healers from both Horde and Alliance to heal it. Those are the Sarek. We find them actually attacking the Jade Serpent. He and his niece Lily helped drive them back, defeated the leader, and stole all the jade. Now, we would catch up with him again in the Valley of the Four Winds, and that's where most of the players do find him. Chen and Lily were visiting through their farms on the way through, and they met up with Mudmug. If you remember him, he's the one you had to go get all the different, like the dirty water to make the brew, and you find him at the beginning of Valley Four Winds, and he leads you all the way through up to Hatfield Market. So you meet up with Mudmug, and he starts to talk to him about the brewery. Well, of course, Chen wanted to go visit the Stormstyle Brewery, which is his distant relations. Hadn't seen him in ages, and then this is because, I said the turtle had stopped making the trips to the mainland and stayed out to sea. After he found the brewery, defeated all the enemies inside, he returned to Mudmug, and for his help, he named his beer brother. And there's a whole drinking scene where you sit there and talk to him. And then from that point on, we see Chen leave. He goes out to the brewery again, and we don't talk to him. He goes in to kill all the elementals and hosen that are inside, but we really don't get to see him questing-wise. You do see him when you go back into the Stormstyle Brewery, but you don't see him questing-wise until the end of the quest line in Valley of the Four Winds. That's where we meet up with him again. We can actually continue questing through, and when we get to the very end, I can't remember the name of the little village out there, but we meet up with the Shadow Pan, and the Shadow Pan are trying to fight back the Mantid. Now, these guys are trying to force their way through the Serpent Spine wall that they had blown a hole through. When it was all about lost, you hear, here comes Chen to save the day. Him and Mudmug and Lily actually rallied, along with you, go around and rallying all the different farmers and try to get them to come back and try to fight off the Mantid. We also see that the Night Elf Sentinels and the Taran Sunwalkers join the group as well. And for those who know anything about the animosities between the Horde and Alliance, this is the very first time that the Horde and Alliance have worked together since back at the Wrath of the Arrogate, or Wrathgate in Wrath of the Lich King, when they were in front, and that's where we see Bolvar actually get a little crispy. So, spoiler alert if you haven't played that part yet, but that's how long it's been since we've actually worked together as a group instead of against each other. So it's kind of a neat little callback. Chen's very steeped in the lore. Some say that all the brewing information that the dwarves know were actually taught originally by the Pandaren. Some say that the Pandaren have been around a lot longer than the dwarves. There's a lot of discussion on how deep the Pandaren actually go. And if you look at the monk, and this is where what actually frustrated me when Mr. Pandaren came out, is that people are saying there's no reason for them. They're not supposed to be in the game. But they've actually predated World of Warcraft by 6-7 years. Other places you find Chen actually right now in game, you can find him at the Lazy Turnip. That's at bar that's right there in the Valley of the Four Winds. Ella makes a brew that you actually have to take up there and have him try. You also see Chen and Lily on the Wandering Festival, which is on Turtle Beach in Crassaring Wilds. If you've never seen that, that's something pretty neat to see. I believe it only happens on Sunday nights. Also during the Landfall patch, we see Chen stationed in Binon Village. This is where you'll see him taking care of Vol'jin after Garrosh betrayed him. So, other than that, he's really stopped being a major part of the game. We see him throughout the rest of Pandaria, of course, bits and pieces and references here and there. But I think more prominent out of the Pandaren became Lore Master Cho as Mr. Pandaren moved forward. Chen is one of those ultimate WoW characters, like what Rexar. You put him up there with the likes of Rexar, which are just fabled in stories, but yet very, very rarely seen. So moving forward, I really don't see much more coming from the whole Chen storyline. I wish there would be more on his family and maybe some of his adventures. Again, I always like the way they do the Caverns of Times dungeons. Really think maybe they could do a Caverns of Times dungeons on the Chen adventures, but pretty much
they're not going to backtrack content like that though.
No,
maybe in a novel.
But see, I do like the way they did it with what is that? Calling a Stratholme. When they brought that into Wrath of the Lich King, that was a big way for them to backtrack content. They were able to show things that happened to characters in the game.
That was relevant to that.
That was relevant to the point. Yeah, that's where I was very upset whenever they brought in the Caverns of Time, and I'm going, great, this is great. I get to see the Calling of Stratholme. We got to see the opening of the Dark Portal. There are so many neat things that came out of it. but then when a Miss Paid came around, it kind of just dropped.
Somebody just say me and Panzer could be sisters. Hi, can you get the fuck out of my chat? For real? Do you know me watching you? Hello? That better have been a troll.
Aggression is hot.
Wow.
I saw her face goes.
Wow.
Well, I was like, oh, someone fucked up. What
Wow.
happened? What I missed?
So
Watching
Just
you,
two
I love
more-
you, but never again, bud. Never again.
Two more random facts for you about Jen. That's the guy in the video clip, and he's been my son's favorite ever since he first saw that.
oh yeah,
And the second random fact, action figure is fucking amazing.
I can't.
Yeah.
Am I in Narnia right now? What's
It-
happening? Watching you, was that a troll to get a reaction? Because I know you watched before.
It
God
worked.
damn it. This is why I didn't want to do a live show, ladies and gentlemen, for shit like that. I love you watching you.
but yeah. Just so what I would just like I said,
I have hazel eyes.
what I said, with Chen, I think Chen's a storied character, and I really think that they could have done more with him. And I understand that the content drove them to do more with Cho than anything else, but I think it was a disservice to him that they didn't do more information on. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
I
Nice
bet
It suited
segments.
at the time. It's just unfortunate. Like,
Mhm.
it's unfortunate we're at a point now where when we've got such a lacking sort of content, and you're sort of sitting here going, wow, man, like they could have done this, they could have done that. And that is definitely, man, like I would have loved to
Well-
have seen heaps more about them. But because it's
Look
not
at-
current, they wouldn't do it.
Look at coming in the Draenor too. Rexar was another way to go. And we also were supposed to learn about Farallon. Farallon being the home of the ogres. And they're going, well, we didn't have enough time to put it in here. And I'm sitting here now, how long we've been in HFC? Going, where's my Farallon content? Why can't we have it now? Why can't we see this new island they supposedly had no time to put into it? Just my opinion.
I did think he was going to have more of a... What's the word I'm looking for? Maybe that's why they gave him a nod, and I guess it was natural since he's a panda. They gave him a... where he's just kind of walking around. I think you talked to him, too. I know he's a quest giver in there, too. But I like the fat pandas. I don't know why nobody else did. I thought the pandas were awesome. Not enough to be one, but I did like looking at the fat pandas.
I love
tanking.
my panda. He looks exactly like Kung Fu Panda guy.
So, in light of that fucking Panzer comic, god damn it, I'm going to have Jim bail me out because Jim's segments are always on point. So, with that being said,
Oh, too much pressure. You skipped.
we are going to transition into, I'm doing the longer segments first. We're going to transition into Jim's segments because he's got some good shit going on here. What you got for us, Jim?
I got lots of stuff, kinda. I mean, last time I spoke to everybody about some of the changes that are happening. A nerf to the undead racial. And when they come back to life with the undead racial, they'll do less damage. Also, a number of abilities have been nerfed by an extra round. And then also the huge nerf to Graves, less attack power, less health. And you have to choose between Grave Destruction or Bone Storm, so you can't have two AoEs. We already spoke about that last time. And I think that just tells me that Blizzard really wanted everyone to play Heroes of the Storm to go get Graves. I think they purposely just made it really overpowered to make you want to go get it, whether you enjoy MOBAs or not, right? So you so smart, Blizzard. So now for some more information that I got from WarcraftPets.com. 3 new toys, a flaming hoop, a leather pet bed, and a leather pet leash. Flaming hoop seems pretty cool because my pets are so accomplished. I mean, they're already a master at so many things, so why not jumping through a fiery hoop? And then they work so hard, why can't they just relax in a comfy leather bed, right? So that's pretty cool. But big changes potentially. It's a serious moment, actually, a very serious topic. They're playing with the chance to have pets be epic. Purple pets, what? That's craziness. So in the last patch in Alpha, they added Immaculate Battlestones,
Nice.
and that'll allow you to upgrade your pets to epic. That's crazy. But it's not confirmed. They're testing it now, so that's a pretty big change, right? So I don't know how that's going to work. It's going to be very interesting to see how that affects everything, really, like pet battles, the older trainers, how I power level pets. Is the Celestial Tournament just that much easier to beat if you've got epic pets, PvP pet battles? So many different possibilities, right? So I don't even know where to start if there's epic pets. So for you pet collectors, what do you guys think? Is that good, bad? I saw some comments where people were really excited. I saw comments where people were losing their minds because they have 700 pets to go from rare to epic. So we'll see how that translates into the new expansion. So we'll see. Yeah, that's all I really have.
I like to see they're focusing a lot on pets, which I'm sure makes you really happy. But I like that they're not focusing on too many aspects at once. Not like grading and not just PvP. They're making sure that they're bringing the pet battling stuff.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. A lot of new cool pets. I mean, there's been some new ones added. There's
I was gonna look at those the other day for you. Like there were some weird looking ones.
There was a snail with a checkered flag in it. Yeah. Zoom. I don't know.
And
it's another snail model with a flag in it, but
honestly, if they went with epic pets, one thing I would like to see them do is some type of leveling process to go from an uncommon, to maybe rare to epic if they go that route. Like you do with your followers in your garrison.
Yeah.
When you hit a certain level, hit them to 25, boom, you can start moving them up to a better quality.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they made it really hard to get a rare pet. That would make people probably cry as well. But imagine you really had to focus on, hey, I've got this rare battle stone. What am I going to do with it? Which pet am I going to use it on? And instead of just giving you access to 700 of them to
Making
level
it more difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. It's not confirmed, everyone, so don't say, Gemma Banks told me and it didn't happen. So they're really testing it. So it's going to be a huge change to pet stats and everything. So we'll see how it goes. Pretty exciting. Yeah, a lot of good changes for Alpha, and I'm sure a lot more news to come.
It's nice to see that they're spending a bit of time on not the main parts of the game. I shouldn't say that because I know pet battling to you is the main part of the game. But like pet battles is getting a boost, like archaeology is getting a boost, all the professions are getting a boost. Like they're not just solely focusing on the storyline and gear and raids and stuff like that. Like the whole expansion is getting a rework. So I'm super happy about that.
Agreed.
I think we need to get the chat room and all the listeners and followers to go onto Twitter and tweet the devs with some outrageous pet battling stuff and do hashtag Gemma Banks told me so.
I told you.
We need to make that.
They're gonna ban his account for false information.
I told us so.
Jim always makes us look bad with the segments. I'm kind of sick of his shit already. How do you guys feel? 'Cause I'm kind of sick of his shit already.
Like
his shit's always and he sounds like a sports announcer.
Too professional.
Fucker, get out of here! Why did we invite you in here?
This should be intimidating, isn't it?
Stop being better than us.
Should be, yeah, should be, yeah.
I know he's got a Timmy now. He's official. Bloke, I know you got some bullshit this week. I read something about cunt, so I'm assuming it's gonna be a good one.
I don't know where you read that. Who would write that kind of word down?
I read it was like, it's gonna be a good day.
He wrote that for See You Next Tuesday.
Nah, let's face it, I wrote it. It was me. It goes hand in hand with what we've been saying through the episode. It's to that point where there's not a lot of content going on. We've got our raid content, and we've sort of made the realization that unless they come up with a pretty spectacular announcement anytime in the next 45 minutes or so, that's it. That's all we're getting until the game comes out. And I don't know. I kind of get tired about people whinging about, oh, I'm so bored. I haven't got anything to do. Now, this is something that we've talked about many, many times on the show before. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to practice what I preach. So I set my sights on the double agent achievement and went and played Horde. Admittedly, I started at Death Knight because I'm lazy and I'm like, fuck that. I'm not doing the whole thing again. But the experience that I had with it, I honestly think it's something that everyone should do. If you haven't become bi-factional now, like you're bleeding blue or bleeding red, whatever way, you got to take the time to go and swap over and at least experience some of the main starting zones for some of the expansions as the opposite faction. I've been playing this game for 11 years as a devout alliance. Love my lines. And to go through the different starting zones, in particular Pandaria, and not so much Cataclysm. Wrath, there wasn't a big deal so much per se, but the one in the Horde starting zones in Pandaland and in Ward, I was freaking my shit right out. I'm like, this is a whole new game. Oh my god, who's that guy? Why the fuck haven't I seen this guy before? Wow, my flags are red and there's snow and shit. Like, I was losing my marbles over the most simplistic stuff. And at some point I sat down and realized, I'm like, holy shit, like, this is the experience that I had when I first started playing the game. Like, I was so engrossed in the storyline and so engrossed in the characters and exploring. Like, I've explored Frostfire Ridge on Huge Block as a Draenei. I'm like, whatever, fly around it, done my bits, got my treasures. Um, to go back and do that as an actual character going through those storylines, it was such an amazing experience. I enjoyed it so much. That's how this sort of topic came around, and it made me realize that there's so many avenues of the game that I really haven't explored into that depth. Like, I've dabbled in PvP, I've dabbled in raiding, in more recent content. I haven't touched high end raiding for a long time. So perhaps instead of saying, "Oh, we're going to be stuck with the same raid content or the same seasons and or whatever else until the end of the game," stop sucking about it. Maybe get off your ass and go and have a look at something else that you haven't done before. At least give it the benefit of the doubt and go and play the opposite faction. Or if you've been a devout raider, go play PvP. If you've been in arenas for the last 10 years, whenever they came in, go try raiding. Like, do something else. Don't sit and cry about it. Go and experience it, because there's so much more to the game than just those one nuclear-minded sort of things that a lot of people are doing. I've been learning about the auction house. I've been diving a little bit more into pet battles, so I don't look completely stupid when Jim Banks is telling me stuff. I now understand what a Graves is properly now. Like, I didn't even know I had that pet, by the way. So, I mean, that's really the whole nuts and bolts of my bullshit for this week. Is, like, honestly, if people were prepared to go and experience something else and entertain themselves in a different way, then perhaps there wouldn't be, like, it would remove that one little thread of negativity that we're seeing so much in we need new content, we need this. No, you need to get off your lazy ass and go do something else. If you honestly, like, if you have every achievement unlocked and you're a gladiator status and you fucking downed everyone on Mythic, then fair enough. Then you can say, oh, this game's boring as shit and I'm not playing it until Legion. Once you've achieved all that stuff, if you're a battle pet trainer like Gemma here, or Mythic Raider like Holtz, like, then you got warrant to talk about it like that. But please, in the meantime, don't do it. Just go
I
and try.
did at the end of Cata, actually. I tried a Death Knight, and I was going through the Alliance Zone for the first time on my main server, and it was really cool because, the Griffin mounts were cool, finding my way around Stormwind. It really did make the game another level, right? And I like how you mentioned about how going through Frostfire Ridge was. It's cool to hear your experience, because I
Oh
went through
man,
that zone multiple times on the Horde,
And it's
right?
not
So
even that. It's not even the players. It's not even the inactive people that are bitching about it. It's the people that are in game still bitching about it. They're crying and QQing in trade chat. And Frugal, I'm just going to acknowledge you, even though we're not supposed to be acknowledging chat during the segments per se. For timekeeping, we're not saying there's anything wrong with not playing. We're talking about the people who are in their bitching about it. If you don't like it,
yeah.
don't fucking play it.
They're standing
Unsub.
around in their garrison
Stop
saying,
sitting on the
"Ah,
forums and crying like a bunch of fucking little children. Just don't play then.
I know plenty of people that aren't playing at the moment. They play for a long time. They're not playing at the moment. You know what? And I've got nothing against that shit.
Take a break.
I've done it that many times myself. Have a little break. Come back to the game later, or try it in the next expansion or something like that. I got no issues with that at all. In fact, I encourage people to do that if you're that bored with the game. What I'm aiming specifically at is the people, like you said, that are sitting there in their garrison, staring at a wall, watching Netflix on the other screen, with the forums open on a third screen, going, "You suck, give me more content.
Kill yourselves.
I pay this much." Yeah, like, burn in a fire, fuck you all. Like, come on, man, that's
Don't
not
like it,
helping
don't
anyone
play.
or anything. Exactly.
Blizzard
Exactly.
offers a plethora of games to capture your attention. There's
None of which we can talk
plenty-
about on this podcast.
Right, but I mean, there's plenty of other things that
Sorry.
you can do if it's Blizzard specifically. Like, I typically don't step outside of my Blizzard box. There's a few random things I play, but I typically like to keep it within Blizzard's realm of stuff.
Click
because-
your heroes.
Yeah, because like I dig that kind of vibe, but it isn't the people that are taking a break that are on there bitching. It's these guys that just refuse to die. Can you please go away? You're just making it worse. They're like the
stupidest-
girlfriend, right? The stage 5 clinger. They don't go away, but all they want to do is bring you down with negativity because they have nothing better to do with their time. They sit in their garrisons and they troll trade chat and they talk about how terrible everything is. Why the fuck are you still subbing then? Give yourself a break. Walk away for 4 months and come back when Legion comes, as so many typically do. Some of us don't have that luxury. Some of us are guild masters. Some of us are in the community, and we don't have the luxury of just walking away from World of Warcraft. So,
World of Warcraft
Some of us are-
you know?
Some of us aren't allowed to play other games because we get yelled at by our.
No, that's not a fact at all.
So,
Don't try to make me look bad, guys. That's not going to be cool, because
Click
I will do
Heroes,
it back.
Assassin's
So,
Creed, Battlefield, Overwatch, take your pick. I play them all. But that's the whole reason that I do that is
Right.
because if I honestly, for me personally, if I sit here and play WoW 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'd go fucking retarded. Like I couldn't do it, and the novelty of the game would wear off so quick. I go away,
It's not
do
for
something
everyone.
else, play a different game for a couple of hours, come back, and have no issues.
it's not for everyone. I've never gotten bored, right? A lot of people always say, how do you not get bored? I have a lot of things that don't allow me to get bored. The guild, my friends, the people, really just my own love for it. I can't imagine. There's been times when I've been super busy and haven't been able to log in on a certain day because I worked really late and I was really tired. And I don't really get bored typically because I find things to focus on in between expansions when we're having problems with content to not be bored. So this is why I understand people, but I also don't understand how people can get bored because I myself don't. Not talking shit, people get bored and that's their own. Everybody plays differently, to each their own, but it doesn't really affect me much in that aspect. But to that end, I agree with everything Bloke said, and then I want to add to it that I agree again. So all the things.
I was going to
yes.
say super quick. Thanks, Chris. I really appreciate the stick figure drawings of the live show that you're sending me. I will share them. I meant to do it last week and I didn't get to it, but I will make sure I do it this week.
That's awkward.
If you see me on the screen, that's why.
Hots, you got what boss are you doing? You're doing Cormrock?
Cormrock?
Mythic Cormrock?
Mythic Cormrack. So there's really only one major change to mechanics in this fight, and it's going to be whenever he jumps in his pools, but I'll get into that in a second. There's one add-on that is, I don't really see how you can get by without it. It's Exorcist raid tools. The changed mechanic is whenever he jumps in his pool, he sends out little droplets, little swirls from said pool that cover the entire map. Whenever you stand in one of the little areas, it uncovers 10 foot, around a 10-foot radius of the platform that you're standing on to begin with. So you have 20 people, each covering about 200 or about 10 yards apiece. That's going to be about 200 yards. But the platform is probably 500, 600, if not 1,000 times bigger. So you have to be very strategic as to which ones you're catching and which ones you're not. So this also takes effects for all the other mechanics, the empowered runes, the grasping and the dragging hands, and the wave surge that he sends through.
Do you normally start with green? I can't remember. That's
Yeah, use it.
green, orange, and then purple's in the very back, right?
Yeah. The one that I've always done is green, purple, orange, because the empowered runes can take a lot more. As a boomkin, they one-shot me, and I have 528,000 health. So it's pretty iffy. You have to have a lot more heavy cooldown classes with those warlocks, rogues, hunters, so on and so forth. So typically the idea is to go from green, purple to orange for mythic. But like I was saying about the swirls that from whenever he jumps in the pools, what Exorcist does is it allows you to assign people to all the different places that you want to go to, and it puts a way a waypoint, the same thing you would see like with TomTom and stuff like that. So whenever the mechanic goes out, it tells everyone where they need to go and exactly which ones they need to be covering, so you have the appropriate land open while the mechanics are going out. The only other real big difference in it is they overlap in Mythic. So whenever you have dragging hands, one of those is going to happen whether you have empowered runes or you have the tidal wave. Um, it's not a huge deal. It takes a little bit of getting used to. That's usually where your biggest raid cooldowns are going to be used. There's not a. It's the same thing as heroic. There's no real damage until those start happening. The biggest issue that I had while we were progressing through it is the dragging hands not stacking in the right spots, or people not soaking the correct little droplet things. They don't really have a mechanic name for it. I've never really heard it. So, but you'll get dragged into the AoE, and it does a good amount of damage. And then the same thing with the waves happening while he's doing a crush, and you're limited to the amount of area that you have to run because of the ground being covered with all the AoE. It becomes kind of hectic in a sense during the transitions, and whenever you start getting that down, typically nowadays you're not really seeing the third pool. Most people's DPS is well and far and beyond the requirement for the empowered runes or the waves, depending on whichever one you want to go with. The ring really helps in a lot of phases. Try not to use it on the dragging hands. Warriors are best for warriors, and enhancement shamans are going to be your best because they're your burst AoEs. Boomkins do help. Shadow Priests don't use Halo. I know it does a lot of damage and it sounds amazing, but you're putting yourself in a really bad spot by standing way out in the middle of nowhere to get the biggest effect from Halo. Other than that, that's pretty much the fight. It's pretty easy. It's pretty GG. You're probably looking at less than 100 wipes with a pretty, I wouldn't say solid raid team, but people who are just now getting to it, you'll probably see less than 100 wipes on this fight. It's fairly simple.
Nice. Look at you being all elite over there and stuff.
Boom!
So now I'm not gonna look so ghosty.
Still not 14 to 14.
It's true. It's true. So watching you asked about PvP, the difficult thing about me talking about PvP and Legion, I haven't played it. All the speculation in the world of what they're doing, I haven't played it yet. It is something that I do plan on checking out in detail so that I can go over and talk about it to kind of give everybody kind of my take on how I feel it's going down. But I did, that'll probably be sometime in the future, so I do plan on doing that. However, I do want to talk about, I'm going to start getting back to my normal PvP talk, but I want to talk something. Broody had brought up a really good point regarding being able to go into a random battleground to get your Valor. Here goes. People that don't normally PvP have to go into a battleground to be able to get their weekly cap, what the fuck ever, for their Valor. They're going in, they don't know what they're doing. They don't ask help. They don't research. They're not interested in helping. They just go in, do a bunch of fucking random bullshit, have no fucking idea what's going on, and basically ruin the situation for everybody else, which isn't anything new, guys. This has always been a thing. People that don't know what they're doing run in there. They don't care for direction. When you make shout-outs, call-outs, they don't give a fuck. They look at it like, well, I'm never going to see these people on the internet, so why should I even bother? Similar to LFR. So she brought up a good point. Now, I hadn't been into a random in a while, so this week I did my fair share. Last week I did my fair share. Didn't have time to talk about it on last week's show. So we are now dealing with a situation where Blizzard's done a great thing. They're giving you multiple ways of being able to get this Valor. I think that's awesome. That's legit, right? If it wasn't for the cloak quest, I wouldn't have gotten into PvP because I originally had to go into Temple of Katmagu and Silver Shard Mines. So that's the reason I even started loving PvP in the beginning, was because of that. However, I feel like if you're going to step inside somebody's means of playing, right? So I'm not elite raider, but I can hold my own. I know what I'm doing. I've raided with the guild. I'm not a fucking retard. If I choose to do a stupid mechanic in raid, it's really because I'm just being a troll to my raid leader, who is my good friend David. I mean, that just is what it is. But I feel like LFR's a joke, right? That's like the standing joke. Everybody makes fun of it. There's a million memes about LFR because people go in there and they face roll and they don't give a shit. They're talking shit and learn to raid, and there's a bunch of keyboard jockeys in there that know what they're the pros, right? But yet they're in LFR. So I feel like this specific instance with the Valor, Brutum brought up a good point. Now this is bringing and spilling that over into other aspects of the game because Blizzard's doing a service here. They're allowing you multiple ways to be able to get it, but I think it's pretty shitty that the rest of us who have to go in there and we have to get our caps, we're trying to gear alts, we're trying to go in there and just blow off some steam and have a good time. We have to deal with 4 or 5 of these people who don't really PvP. They're not interested in learning, okay? I'm not complaining about people who don't know anything about PvP or who are new. I'm pissed off about the people who are not interested in learning. They don't want to, what's the word? I don't know, try or possibly see what the fuck's going on, possibly understand when somebody calls out in chat. They don't want to do anything. They just want to go in there and they want to just fucking mash keys and let that be the end of it. Like, that's, I don't do that in LFR. I don't just go in and be like, oh, I'm just going to face pull the boss and I'm going to do all the things wrong that you're not supposed to be doing. Like, that's not cool. I'm going to apply myself because I'm affecting other people's gameplay. So my little PvP little mini rant here, if you are one of these people that doesn't PvP and you want to go in and you want to PvP because you want your Valor, can you try? Can you just try? Maybe if nobody's talking to you in chat and you don't know what's going on, just have a look around. Look and see what's going on. Where's everybody at? If everybody's over here, why the fuck you over there? Why are you fighting on the fucking road and you're the only person? Literally, you're the one healer we have. You're fighting in the middle of the road instead of running with the flag carrier. What are you doing? You don't know what you're doing because you're not applying yourself, because you're going in there, you're face rolling, you're ruining other people's gameplay. And this is what Bloke has been talking about for the last 3 weeks on the game as far as community, right? We are a community of people where when I step in to a group scenario, everybody else in that group is affecting my gameplay, right? They're affecting my gameplay because they're not giving a shit about the situation at hand. They're forcing me to then get irritated and get pissed off about it. So for my little Bell's Bites, what I wanted to task you guys with is, if you see this happening, maybe whisper this person, be like, hey, if you would really like to learn how to PvP, I would love to show you, instead of you fighting on the roads like a fucking retard. Or over there doing what you're not supposed to be doing because you don't want to ask, you don't want to pay attention. I realize people in chat aren't that nice. I totally get it. If I was new to the situation in PvP, people aren't that nice. I totally get it. So apply yourself. I don't really know what my point was in all of that at the end of the day, except to maybe apply yourself. We're never going to fix it. It's a broken system.
Be a team player.
But you're not going to make people care. People aren't going to give a shit. It's at the end of the day. And you're right. It is a two-way street. I 100% agree that it is a two-way street. It is equally as important for somebody to ask a question and get a proper response instead of, do you even PvP, bruh? I totally agree with you. There are those people that when you ask a question, they respond and they're a bunch of dicks. We are tasked with being a community, and I would like to see that shine through in more random scenarios. I would like to remember the days. Wait, I don't ever remember those days because I didn't have friends back in the instance days. I didn't start doing instances until Miss Pandaria. But I think it should be one of those moments where if somebody steps in, help them. If they're asking a question, don't be a dick in chat. Help them. Don't respond with your mom. Please, could you not be 12? Anyway.
Yeah, it's not Zoom.
They probably
Right.
are 12.
That was my little PvP. I do plan on talking about PvP every week. I am going to start getting into the class changes in relation to PvP next week for my Bell's Bites, so that we can start breaking down some of the Legion changes and what that means for us PvPers out there. Let's go ahead and making sure I didn't forget anybody's segments.
I was going to say, what if my mother was actually in the instance with me? Is that still a valid argument?
Well, I love your mother.
She does play WoW.
I love your mother.
You know, I'm making filler for you so you can see if you...
I know. I was just trying to make sure I didn't forget anybody's segments, and I don't think I did, right? We're all good? Okay, so let's do what we haven't done in quite some time. Let's do our week in WoW. Lycan, what did you do this week in WoW?
Mount runs. Still haven't gotten my
Mounts is
life
such a
yeah,
shitty subject in our group.
life finder handmaiden,
Why
and
do you guys make it that way?
No,
You
mounts
guys
break up happy homes.
congratulate people.
but it wouldn't be bad as if I have to keep going back into that godforsaken instance, that godforsaken fight, because all I would have to do is up the all track scene. I won't have to worry about spine anymore, and I hate spine. But no, still haven't gotten it. Obviously, updated a new PC, have wonderful graphics. I said, going back to a lot of different places that I haven't been to. Zolgarub is an absolutely gorgeous area to fly into. I'm just like really re-experiencing the game. And I've got my 5,000 time walking coins to get that mount that I want, but I have to now wait until almost, mid-March? End of March, whenever it comes back around for the
That's
Wrath
every
one?
month.
Yeah. So whenever the Wrath one finally comes around, I can get that stupid blue charger thing that I'm gonna use to replace Invincible and be one of those mounts. I'll never touch Invincible ever again because it's really not that great of a mount. So
We'll come back to this.
Bloke, what did you do this weekend?
Here we
Wow,
go.
I
And
shudder
we're
to
back.
ask. I felt like that's a setup, but
No, I did the same. Obviously, I was playing my Tauren DK and got him the double agent, and then hanging out with him, getting him geared up. I've been doing my time walking and farming the coins for the mounts and shit like that. I can't remember. There was another event that was on just recent, something about chemicals or some shit. Oh, that's right. The Love is in the Air one, and. I don't know, by sheer luck, fluke, or maybe it was Blizzard just going, hey, you know what, bro, you're awesome. Here, have this. Got a big pink love rocket. And, I've been riding that around pretty happily, maybe 2 or 3 times. Now it's just packed away, probably not going to use it. But then I got the one from Firelands, and then I got the other one from Firelands, and then I got one of the ones from Tanaan Jungle as well. So, had a bit of a dry spell with it. 4 mounts in 1 week. Can't fucking argue
you
with
should
that.
play
Thank
the
you,
lottery.
Blizzard.
You're gonna win.
I doth my hat to you, Blizzard. Still have ridden Lifebinders for at least 3 to 4 weeks now.
Too funny.
Might just go and do it
my
tonight.
forehead's itchy.
That's right. I know. In all seriousness, I'm going to get off this show and just go sit in my garrison on my Lifebinders. Probably log out. Won't even do fuck all.
Fuck off. Hots,
Or
what
maybe
did you-
even my laptop.
Congratulations, I'm not bitter.
I'll give you a golf clap.
Hots, what'd you do this weekend? Wow.
I did that chemical thing. Don't want to do it anymore. I didn't get them out. I just like it.
I don't have to do that anymore. Ever.
It's a fun. I like it. I'm tired. I got a toy from it, the Heartbreaker toy.
I didn't get the Heartbreaker.
I got
was
that
just like-
too.
I was like, what is this? Oh, that's really random. Why did you implement that? And it has like a really short cooldown. But we got Mythic Archimon to 25%.
Yeah, but you didn't kill him yet.
To be fair, he technically has 110% health, so we're technically 15% away. But no, really, it's 25%. We're looking to kill him Sunday night, actually.
Good, I hope so.
We have everything down. I've been saving my gold, so instead of rolling for the Mythic Archimon mount, I can buy it outright for probably upwards of 100k. I don't know. There's a lot of risk people in my guild. I also have found a way to not ever go outside again. I got some Snooki spray tan, so now there's more WoW in my future, and I don't have to look so ghosty. I'm just waiting for someone to come here in about a month and a half that can actually touch, like all of that and not feel uncomfortable. So now I
That same someone that gives out my address to random people without asking my permission. Would it be that same someone?
Yeah.
It would be that same someone.
Richard did
No.
not.
She would never
No.
do such a thing, give
No,
my address
this-
out when I have children to somebody who I didn't know
Never.
or asked me permission before
But-
we did a thing.
Wow.
But they
Funny.
No, I'm actually really excited. I'm really hoping that it's gonna breathe a whole new breath
You
of
need to
life.
Febreze your room because she's going to turn around and leave.
Bruh, it's been Febrezed and aerosoled and candled and everything.
You're going to have to move rooms before she can. What's
Swap.
the video?
I don't know.
We have a video that
That's-
floats around. It's the I don't know who does the video, but company's coming and it's a dude dressed as a chick and he's freaking out and can't look like anybody lives here. I'm gonna have to link it. If you haven't seen that video, it's hilarious. Yeah, you're gonna have to Febreze because she's gonna leave. I wouldn't stay in that room with you. And I live here.
Anyways, back to my weekend. Wow.
You brought the suntan oil, so I figured it was talk about weird shit time.
I wanted to make a call to Snooki, you know, homegirls, fist pumping.
Snooki,
But,
got it.
No, I'm really hoping that a new breath of life will be breathed into me. Breathed into me? I don't know how to say that. But after we kill Archimon, because it's
Way to
getting pretty
work.
monotonous.
It works.
Wait, words. It's getting very. We're almost at 400 wipes on that fight. So it's been a challenge. It's been fun. It's been hectic. It's been annoying. But I can't really complain. We're getting there. Hopefully Sunday he'll be a deader. And I'll announce it to the world, aka my battle tag.
Nice. Gemma, what'd you do in WoW besides pet battles, or is that what you did?
I was just gonna say, so here's the thing. Just because I'm a rank 1 gladiator in pet battles doesn't mean I'm not the man in PvP. Doesn't mean I'm not skilled. Okay, I do other things in pet battle. That being said, we had the pet battle bonus event. It was awesome. I did my 5
I had to
PvP.
say you're not typecasting yourself there, bud.
Yeah. So, I wanted to mix it up for my 5 PvP pet battle wins. I always recorded for the quest, the very best quest, and I used all pets from the trading card game, really rare ones like the Ethereal Soul Trader, Spectral Tiger Cub, and one of my favorites, the Rocket Chicken. And it was really fun, really close, so that was fun. I got a gift from a friend. I was helping out Aja with some PvP pet battles, and she took the time to look through my pet list to find one that I didn't have. I actually had no idea that I was missing this one, and hooked me up with a Sky Fry. So thank you so much.
Aw.
Yeah, very nice,
That's nice of her.
She's a nice lady. Mythic Dungeons, I did some of those on the Horde side as well as the Alliance side, and I am looking for more people to do that with, so if you want to add me or you're looking to do Mythic Dungeons on either faction, hit me up. And then, we already announced it earlier in the show. The big deal is the Shibby. Jimma Banks has a Shibby. And I couldn't have been more excited. So I was very happy. So shout out to Dusky. It's like a big moment in my life, right?
I know, it was a big important moment.
I was excited. Like every day I was like, so Belle, do we have our Shibby back? Or can I see it? So thank you. Shout out to Dusky. And a lot of PvP also. Gearing up a couple of my alts and just having a lot of fun with PvP. So that was my week in WoW.
Nice.
Nice.
My week in WoW, I was bored one day and was like, I want to check out Ice Crown. I haven't been in there for quite some time. It was probably a couple years ago when I went in there with some friends to do some achievements. So, first of all, I'm directionally challenged. Everybody knows that. Why the fuck I decided to go to a really confusing place that was not just a simple in and out like Onyxia is beyond me. So I'm in Zoom like, hi, can I get some directions? Where do I go now? Help me. I clicked this. Oops, I fucked up. Did a thing. Took me 2 times to down Lich King because I didn't pay attention to what I was doing. I got knocked off. But I didn't get him out because nobody loves me.
Didn't pray to the bacon gods.
Yeah, I didn't do the Bacon God ritual, so that's likely why I didn't get them out. So
Bacon gods.
yesterday we had our RBGs for the guild, and we're still a new team. We're still kind of learning each other. There's a couple new people to the team itself for Team 1, and we're just kind of getting our footing. And we've got a new RBG leader. I am not equipped to lead, right? I can yell at people, but I'm not equipped to lead and to do all the things we need to do. So when I'm not equipped to do those things, I just surround myself with people that are. That's smart business. So last night we won, I think we only lost 3 games of the whole evening. We won right off the bat, boom, 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 one after another. And we went up like an all boomkin. Literally, there was like fucking 7 druids. 4 boom, and I'm like, this is gonna hurt so bad. Like, I had a druid try to put it in my butt. Like, it was awful. But it really wasn't awful because it wasn't that terrible. They were kind of bad. They were bad players.
Did you guys win or did they win?
Oh no, we won. But yeah, it was awful. Literally awful. Yeah, it was super bad awful. They were not good players.
I went into an RBG with 3 warlocks.
But we
and it
had
was like,
fun. There was a DK on a chicken that was literally coming right for me in one of the team fights, and I was like really scared because he looked very, very angry on that chicken. And I mean, he almost killed me. But the PvP stuff, you know, when it comes to RBGs, I don't really arena much. I do feel the itch to kind of get back into arenas.
you should.
Well, I hung up the arena hat in WOD when everybody told me that I need to be Affliction. So it's just something I'm rusty. I know I should be not Affliction. But I do feel like I'm getting the urge to kind of just see what's happening in there. Although RBGs is good for me. I enjoy RBGs. So no, I did not say I'm going to roll Affliction ever.
You just said you were getting the urge to see what was going on in Affliction.
No, in arenas. Did I say Affliction?
Yeah.
No, but that's where
No.
you're kind of leaning.
No, I said
You
arenas.
heard it. You heard it here
Oh,
first.
you
folks.
I would never
ruined
go
it.
Affliction. No, I would never go Affliction.
She's going to arena.
No.
Cloak's going to wear ties.
I also
I still have a.
What?
I still have an offer for 100K to change you to Affliction one day. I'm just afraid that this corner of the house will be burnt down, and I won't have enough time to remove my computer.
Speaking of burning houses down, and did anyone come close to burning their house down this week? Chicken wings or anything like that?
There might have been a situation regarding a new fryer we got, and I was making barbecue hot wings, and a thing happened, and oil was everywhere, and it was boiling hot oil. It was in my fucking kitchen cabinets. It was in my kitchen drawers. It was all over. Literally, there was oil all over my whole kitchen. Literally, there was no fill line on the little fryer part where the oil, so I kind of had to like guesstimate. Turns out I guesstimated a little bit wrong, and there was oil everywhere. Took us 4 towels and 2 rolls of paper towels to clean all that oil up. Guys, make sure you read the booklet that comes in the box with your fryer before you attempt to fry foods.
We don't need no dinner. Let those chicken wings burn.
I really thought my kitchen was on fire. I do want to make sure that I do give a special shout out to Dusky. So, Dusky, she is Falling Stardust. You can find her on Twitter at Falling Stardust. She is an amazing, amazing artist. She's the one that redesigned our logo, and she did all of our chibis. She worked on a super secret project that we're going to be launching here in the next 4 days. A little special something, and she really is amazing. So I do have her new site. It's pretty much finished. There's some stuff that I still got to tweak a little bit, but it's going to be fallingstardust.com. You guys can go check that out, become one of her patrons, and get some cool swag and shit. She's a super talented artist, so if you're looking for some digital art, she's definitely going to be your go-to. And I don't think there's any better than her. I mean, she's really, really, really out of this world, which you guys can see right above my head is the beautiful logo that she did redesign. Yeah. So with all that being said, it is the end of our time here on this lovely show. We are going to go ahead and wrap it up.
So I was looking forward to the Q&A, man.
You don't have to.
There wasn't really many questions. So maybe.
Apparently there was one about my mum.
There was a question about your mom?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah. Murky wanted to know if he could hook up with her, and I'm totally down for that, because then he could be my brother dad.
Hold on. This may cause sparks, but Affliction Lock is better lock to have, not... You know, watching you, I'm not even going to respond. I'm not even going to respond because I feel like you're pushing all of my buttons on purpose. And today's been a really bad day for me emotionally, so I'm just going to walk away. I'm going to walk away. Clearly, you don't really know me that well. I never said Affliction was bad. I never said Affliction was bad. In fact, I've bowed to the fact that Affliction is the go-to for PvP. I never said Affliction was bad. My problem with people these days and ages is they tell me that I have to roll the flavor of the month in order to be good at what I do. Let me tell you something. I have been Destruction since 2006, 6. Tried all of them out. Decided what I like and what I don't like. So there really isn't any sparks, and I've never said Destruction is better than Affliction as far as DPS or gameplay has been stated. I have merely said I'm not going to follow the masses and roll Affliction in order to be good at PvP. I'm going to keep doing what I do, which is chaos bolting the fuck out of people into chaos bolts. You heard it, too.
Rudy's saying to breathe.
So with that being said, no.
You see me running at BlizzCon, it's because I just
I've
told Bill
never
she should be
said,
afflicted.
but people always say, but Affliction is better. I never said Affliction wasn't a good spec. I never said Affliction wasn't the go-to spec for PvP. Literally, that's never came out of my mouth. I have on several occasions bowed to Affliction in that aspect. However, I do whatever the fuck I want to do. So in that element, my bitterness towards Affliction is because people tell me I should be Affliction. That, in truth, is the nature of my bitter. Literally, the beginning of Warlords of Draenor, you guys all know. What did I hear? Every single day. You should be Affliction. You should be Affliction. You should be Affliction. I needed destruction help at the beginning of the expansion because everything changed. You know what I got told in trade chat? You should be Affliction. You know what I got told in all the forums? You should be Affliction. That is the nature of my frustration with Affliction. See, you triggered me. You triggered me.
I'd be afraid to say something, but I have a fear that she would call my brother-in-law to drive out to my house and kick the shit out of me. So I'm just gonna.
I love your brother.
I know, but that's why I'm not gonna say anything to you. Affliction's better.
I don't think Affliction's better. I'm smart enough to not say their DPS isn't better. Of course, if I was a dot class that was great outside the box, my DPS I could fucking face roll just like a DK. Get it? Totally cool. You're awesome. You can dot up all the things. Yay!
What are you trying to say about DKs?
Just say, well, DKs are amazing. They've always been amazing, though. Since their launch, they've been amazing.
So
Right?
That's a question.
I don't have a question. I have a point to stick with Bell. I'm on your side with this one.
That smells like a troll.
Affliction does do more bursts during Mythic Archimon, but that's just because of the nature of the fight.
Sure.
Okay, now Destro is the preferred spec for Lux on Mythic Archimon because of Havoc and Chaos Bolts one-shotting the Death Stars that come at the end. There's 5 of them, so your chances of getting knocked off just went from 1 to 5. And then there's 3 to 5 Infernals standing in this tiny little platform that will 3-shot you if they don't die. So Destro Locks are the preferred spec for Mythic Archimon.
Is the moral of the story. It's not about what you're playing.
Play what you want and don't say it in front of Bill.
No, literally play what you want and have fun playing what you want. If you're enjoying yourself and you're playing what you want, nothing else really matters, which is
I want to be a Night Elf Mohawk.
Which is why my response is my response. People don't understand it, and they tend to misconstrue it as bitching, and it's not bitching. I'm speaking pretty freely about it. But it's the same thing when people tell Bloke that he should be enhancement and not elemental. Like, this is a struggle of a lot of the more go-to type specs in this game, which the game is wonderful that way. You can play whatever the fuck you want. You're not paying my sub. I'll roll no spec and sit on Wandering Isle with my buddy Johnny. I don't give a shit. Like, literally, that's the beautiful thing about it. So, no, I don't hate Affliction. I hate what it represents. That's probably a better answer. Right? Right. Got it. So, with that being said, we are going to get the fuck on out of here. I have had a long day. It's time for a shot, and I'm going to be streaming RBGs here in the next 30 minutes. So, make sure you guys come back. Make sure you guys follow all these lovely gentlemen on Twitter. They probably like nudes. I don't really know how they roll. I know Hots does.
Down for nudes.
Hot
Yeah.
for shots.
That's so weird.
Hot shots.
We are
ruined
going
that
to
song,
get on
man.
out of here. I'm going to go do whatever the fuck I do. But make sure you guys go to PwnCastDailyQuest.com and see what we got going on over there. We got some good things, got some good stuff going out there. Make sure you do follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Also, don't forget to make sure you join our PwnCast group. It's a little guy group. We're just trying to spark some banter, give people a place to openly be able to banter without having to deal with like Banhammer moderators and all that other weird shit. Just kind of a good, fun, safe zone to talk about all the games, not necessarily WoW.
To the Blizzard games.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Right about that time is all the weird toys that they have, and I don't have any at my desk. I ain't
got nothing.
We're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Bye, guys.
Bullshit. I'm always here.
I'm sure. Yeah, I thought so. Did you have to tape it back together? Whose is broken? Oh, that's Mark. This is broken in pieces.
broke it on purpose, bit of easy access.